Okay, today I am working on BellevilleRunningClub.com and I am going to store my user credentials in an auth token and put that auth token in a JWT auth token. So put that auth token into a cookie. And so once my user logs in, effectively they stay logged in. And you don't have to kind of re-authenticate with the server until you close the session and the cookie effectively terminates. And so that's kind of the task at hand. Now, what I need to do is install the right packages, which is going to be, as I mentioned a little bit there, was JWT, JSON Web Token. So if I kind of show that up on the screen, we're going to go to npm JS. JSON Web Tokens, and I figured JWT would get the task done, but that's not coming up. So let's JSON Web Token is what I'm looking at to bring in, which offers this JWT sign. And so it's this web token that's going to help us, remain authenticated. And so let's install that on our back end. So I am on my back end. Let's install JSON Web Token. And cookie parser is the other one. Cookie hyphen parser. And so, the cookie is stored on the client, and that cookie will be sent back to the server and can be read in rec.cookies. And so let's install npm cookie parser. So we got those two things installed. In our server JS to kind of get that cookie parser installed on the middleware so that it's available on all of our routes, we are very simply going to do an app.use cookie parser. So let's import cookie parser up at the top, which looks like this. Import cookie parser from cookie-parser. Looks good. So this is a method that we can bring in on our middleware. And the order of calling these different middlewares matters. So let me see where I want to. Pretty high up. So after that, just do it right here. This should work. App.use cookie parser. Okay. So now let's boot up npm run dev. Get our backend running here on port 5000, and let's open up our user module. Now the task at hand is once a user is either added, so a new user, or they log in, we will go ahead and store all of that in a cookie. So let's go to the login route. Let's kind of start with the login route. So here is where we're seeing if there's a match. So this will return true. If there's a true, we send back a login successful. And we are going to write a function called issue auth token. So after our schemas, it's going to be an async function. It will accept our user object and create a payload. So this is the data in our auth token. User._ID. Email is the user's email. I don't have any roles, so I'm just going to put the ID and the email in our payload. So I'm going to create a JWT secret. This is going to be used to encrypt our auth token. I'm going to store it in my .env. So I'm going to take this off the screen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable in my .env that's all caps and put a long string inside of it. So let's do that off screen. And so just for the syntax of this, in my env file, I have a JWT secret equal to, and then I've got a very long string that's gonna basically be the value of my variable. So this is my JWT secret in my .env, and that should be accessible now through process.env. And let's say const options equals expires in 1 hour. And now we can make our auth token. So const token equals now there is an await JWT sign, payload secret options. That should work, and then I'm going to return my token out of this method. So this method takes in a user and outputs a token. That token has a payload, a secret, and some expiration options. And the next function I'm going to make is not going to be asynchronous. I'm going to say function issue auth cookie. It's going to take in a response object and a token. And this is actually going to be used to create the cookie, right? So const cookie options. I'm going to add a secure. Now, some of this has changed, const. Some of this has changed since I've done this before because I am now on the same site. So same side of strict, this should be fine, secure of true. This is the line of code that actually creates it. Auth token, pass in the token and the cookie options. So now we've got two functions to call when we are logging in a user. Okay, so let's minimize those functions. We'll go to log in a user. If there's an existing user, and the password matches, so, and the password matches is true, we generate that auth token, we await that. We got an asynchronous method that should work. So generate that token and then create the cookie. passing in the response object and the auth token. So issue auth cookie. That allows us to create the cookie in that response object. Right, response is what goes down to the client. So this response object should send a cookie down to the client. And then we'll send a little bit different message back than just saying login successful. Let's do JSON. Welcome. Okay, let's see what the field is, because I got to hit my database and see what are the fields on my users. So in my here, I have a user collection, and I just have a username. Now, here I have username. Here I have given name and family name. So there is given name. So I believe welcome, this will say Evan. That's fine. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Now, good luck remembering my password. So right now I'm just on localhost 5000. Let's boot it up. And by it, I mean Postman. And see BRC user routes, login. And may have to reset my password. Let me close these other routes that I'm not using. Update user by ID. Let's go to list all users. So it looks like this B0 should be giving a password of all ones. It looks like 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's my Gmail. Okay. Let's troubleshoot this. Because port 5000, port 5000. And I'm getting error logging in. Okay, so this outer if existing user, it's not finding my user by their email. And so, okay, so let's debug user. Okay, I'm just going to put my user here in a stringify. If I go to log in my user. Okay. All right, so if I go back here, somehow my password lost its encryption. Oh no, it didn't, because that is in plain text. Okay, good. So I've got a gmail.com. That's the user that's logging in. Password of all ones. And let's hit our existing user and see what that's coming back. Existing user pulls me out, which is good. Oh, it's the catch. It's the catch block that's firing. And so where does an exception occur? Because it's actually the catch. So here, let's do a debug user right there. We see that match should work. Okay, so now we're here. So it is something new that I've introduced. And let's do a debug user auth token. Getting down into it. Existing user. Okay, good. So somewhere along the line here, this auth token isn't happy. So let me go back up to that method and look a little closer. And maybe I'm going to take that await off because I didn't do that. Yeah, my JWT dot sign. I don't know. Maybe that makes a difference for me. Not it. So dot underscore ID user under ID user dot email, that should be fine. Hopefully it's not a problem with my JWT secret. Let's see if I can hit that one, or if it's crashing before that line 37. So payload is good. Oh, I got to import JWT. Got it. So on my user, import JWT, JSON web token. There we go. Yay, cool. All right, now the other important thing is we have a cookie now. Okay, and so that's what we wanted to do in Postman, is make sure that the client, be it Postman, was receiving a cookie and the expiration, military time, GMT time. So gotta figure out what that is, but that's good. So we're logging in now. We've got a cookie. Let me take out my debugs, because that would be annoying to keep those in. And don't need that auth token. Don't need that. Okay, that's when we're logging in a user. Now, the next step would be creating a new user. We're also going to do the same kind of deal. So here's our adding a new user, and if the database is acknowledged, same kind of deals. We need to get that token and issue the auth cookie. So once you write the functions once, you can reuse them. And this will say user ID added successfully. And so let's create a new user, add a new user. This is a post. User added successfully, and we've got the cookie. Okay, the other thing that I very commonly do is I add roles to my database, and I don't have that in my database design for, I don't have roles. So I don't know that I have any permissions. I might consider how to add that, but for right now I don't have any permissions. I just wanted to add this persisting login cookie in this little clip, and I think I'll stop here. I still have to add points in ranking, so I still have a little bit of work to do on that, but this is a good amount for now.